Hello and welcome to the continuation of the character creation for Oblivion Elder Scrolls 4. Now, as we left off, this is Bathesda, a purple-haired Redguard female, and I went ahead and played a bit past the first part where you meet up with the Emperor Uriel's septum as the blades are taking him through your cell to a now not so secret escape route underneath the city of Tamriel, the Imperial City as you'll come to know it in the rest of the game, but he actually labels the city as Tamriel. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and buff ourselves up a little bit as far as points on these stats, because as of yet this character does not have a class, so it doesn't gain levels. So a strategic way of doing something for this game is you can, upgrade certain skills before the game really gets going, such as your sneaking ability. As you can see, I've worked the sneaking ability way up, which will come in handy throughout the game. I've also done some acrobatics work, because the acrobatics was down at 6. I've gotten it up a little ways. And I also worked on the restoration, which I still need about a half a point before I'm done on that one. And this is just to give your character a better starting character as far as his class, when you finally get around to picking that. And this is where this mission actually is. This is actually a better starting mission than in the Elder Scrolls 4. Part 3 of what they call Morrowind. And they actually refer to Morrowind in this game, because in Morrowind the starting level is an outside, and you can go off the beaten path for the training, whereas in this one you have to go a certain route, and there is no way of deviating from the route that they have for you to train you on the basic mechanics of the game, such as when you pick up the bow and arrow, and when you get over encumbered, they teach you these certain different tactics. Also, the sneaking ability will be included as one of the tutorial things in a later part of this mission. So let's go ahead and sneak down their way down this tunnel here. So I can go ahead and sneak down this real fast, because got a high enough sneak, nobody's going to notice me. Plus there's nothing to notice me until you get a certain ways. Now, there is a certain point where you can still go back to the cell. So actually you could spend a good amount of time in this area as well. All you have to do is jump over this. And you can build your stats up a bit that way as well. But after a certain point you can't go back. And since I'm confident in my abilities with the skill sets that I have right now, I'm not going to worry about buffing up any further except for my restoration, because as I said, that's important, because restoration in this game is your healing ability. And I don't have enough magicka to cast it again. Now I do. Now I have to wait. So you have different abilities, and we'll go through them real quick. Armor is the skill that you use to fix your armor. As you can see, I'm not very good, so I probably should pay someone to fix my armor for me. Athletics, I'm decent. That's running and run, swim faster, and regenerate lost fatigue faster. And it's governed by your attribute of your speed. Blade is slashing, thrusting attacks of daggers and swords and weapons more effectively. That's governed by your strength. The block is what you use with is the skill you use with your shields, and you can block with weapons as well. If you're doing like a dual wielding or even just using your thing. And there's also a type of block where you can, submit to the guards and stuff to get them to not kill you and just arrest you. Blunt is, well, blunt weapons. Mace, axe, weapons more effectively, governed by strength. Hand to hand, obvious, it's punching stuff. Heavy armor is, well, heavy armor like steel armor, iron armor, other kinds of really heavy stuff. That's governed by your, it's iron, steel, dwarven, orcish, ebony, and daedric armors, governed by your endurance. Alchemy, that's potion making. Alteration, that's like opening locks, walking on water, breathing underwater and stuff like that, as you can see in the, I hope you can see that. Oh, I guess you can't. Well, let's go ahead and scoot that over a bit so you guys can kind of see a little bit more of the, I don't want the camera to fall again, more of what it does. And then the next one down is Conjuration, which is summoning magic. Destruction, fire, ice, lightning. They call it shock, but it's really just like a lightning bolt. Illusions, charms, concealment, create light, things like that. Mysticism, as you can see, it casts spells that absorb, reflect, dispel, move objects, sense life, and bind souls, which actually becomes really important in the later areas of the game, because you can use the bind souls to take your enemies and put them into these gems, and then use those gems to add special powers to your weapons. Restoration, as you guys, I already told you guys, is healing. Acrobatics, jump long distances, avoid damage when falling great distances, governed by your speed. Light armor is stuff like leather, hide, things like that. It's fur, leather, chainmail, mithril, elven, and glass armors in this game. Marksman with your bows and other ranged attacks. Mercantile, that's good for when you're going into the stores and you want to haggle a little bit. That's governed by your personality. Security, that's lockpicking, basically on doors and containers, what it says right there. We have Sneak, which allows you to move unseen, heard by observers. Agility. Speechcraft, that's your ability to talk to people and get them to tell you things that they wouldn't tell you normally. And that's governed by your, personality. And that's it. So, let's go ahead and sneak down a ways. So basically what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go through the we're going to go through the yeah, there you go. See, they're just waiting down there for you to get here. They kind of saw me but didn't. This is where you get your first weapon. Unfortunately, you end up losing the katana if you end up taking it, but it's a good weapon for fighting. And in this is the startup dungeon, so they give you a few weapons and they train you on what to fight and what you're not gonna, be able to do and stuff. These guys are the enemies in the main quest, the guys called Red Dawn. Or Mythic Dawn. Sorry. Go ahead and take that. And that's what happens when you take clothes off of people. They end up in their underwear. Fight the rat here. I think there's another one. Yep, there it is. And I just increased my hand-to-hand skill by killing a couple of giant rats. And you always want to check the bodies of enemies and stuff to pick them up. Pick up what they have if you want them. Sometimes you can sell stuff like these things are worth 3. Wait, actually I think they're not worth anything. So what we do is we go to the inventory screen. Yeah, they're not worth anything, so we'll go ahead and put the hood on, and then we go ahead and dump the extras. Equip the weapon. So here we go. Now we got a weapon, we got a different clothing. This is not armor, although once you get to the thing where you can enchant it or have it enchanted, it can become a kind of armor. Let's take the potion. And what I was going to say about the mission here is at a certain point you meet back up with the Emperor, and he asks you about the stars that your character was born under, which affects how well your stats go up and down, and certain things will give you a curse and it'll help you, and you just gotta kind of look at them and go through the motions of making your character a little bit better in some areas. It'll make more sense once I get there. So here we go. This is where we're going to get our very first bow weapon to work on our marksman skill with. Let's get a shield. Oh, rat. I was actually looking for him and I didn't see him. Silver, anything silver you want to grab because it'll help you with money. Check out the skeleton, we grab our arrows, take all of them. We don't want the rusty dagger because that's crap. Take the boots, take the cuirass, which is the body armor. That's actual armor in this game. Lockpicks, and another torch. I don't want the other thing. Alright, so lockpicking in this game is actually a little easier than PS3 version. So what we do here is we just move it up, and there you go. Move it up and click before it comes back down. And if you did it right, you can get the lock open. So we take that stuff, we close it, and then we go back to the screen here, and we'll put on our armor as well. Pants. We don't have greaves yet, so we don't have armor on our lower portions, but hey, what can you do? So now we got our little stealth, warrior-ish character. So here's what they want you to do. When you get that bow, they want you to go over here. They want you to equip the bow and arrows. And once you equip the arrows, they pretty much stay equipped until you take them off or you run out of arrows. Go back. So now I'm ready to practice my bows and arrows. So I basically cock the arrow and I shoot the bucket. Yay, I shot the bucket. And then it tells you about how if your arrows don't break, you can retrieve them out of the item that you shot them into. Yay! Let's go ahead and do another shot. And no, you can't break the bucket. And there's nothing down there, so there's a little goblin shaman. We'll take her club, potion, just take everything. You can actually, press the take all button down here at the bottom of the screen, but sometimes they have something you don't want, so better to just go ahead and do that. We open the door with the key we got off that goblin, and we continue on. And now it wants me to cast my destruction magic. I'm not going to, though. I'm going to shoot it. If I can actually get the shot right. There we go. Yeah, they wanted you to use the destruction magic that you start off with by default. It's kind of boring, so I decided not to. Go ahead and put that away. See if we can get the arrow back. We can't, but we'll get the meat. Let's go over here and open this lockbox and see what's in it. More arrows. There's your heavy armor options for starting. Got a healing potion, lockpicks, more torches. Good thing about torches is they don't cost any weight whatsoever, so you can carry as many as you can hold. And we already have a bow, so we'll just take that for now. And that's quite heavy, but I guess we'll take it for now too. Because the reason it gives you all of this stuff in the beginning is so that it can show you the fact that you can only carry so much. And here's going to be our first experience with the undead. That's how he runs at you now. You could barely walk before. Also, the better you are at your sneak, the higher your damage goes up. Yay, we only got 19 pounds left of carrying weight capacity. Which means we're going to have to drop some stuff. Take the bow and my arrow back. You always want to make sure to look in these little caveats during the game, because there may be a little bag or chest or something hidden in the corner just out of sight that you won't see unless you're like right on top of it, so you have to make sure to actually really give a good look. And here's where we'll go ahead and we'll follow their advice and use their magic. And it's out of any kind of range here, so I hope I'm talking loud enough for the mic to pick me up. Try not to shout. So let's see here. We're wanting to get the little beasties before they get us. Hey, we got him. Alright, so a few more things to touch on. Already talked about the magic that they're instructing you on how to use it. It's all pretty basic stuff, just to teach you how to use the game, so that you're not like completely lost when you get out there. Although sometimes if you're not into the spell casting stuff and stuff, you do get a little bit lost anyway when you first start up this game, if you've never played it before. Look at that rat there. 3 times damage, that's awesome. My arrow back. Meat. And there's a it must not be here just yet. Cool, got my arrow back on that one. So let's see here. This is the area, usually you'll be able to get one of them, but the other one will definitely attack you before you... There it is. And now the other one's going to attack, because he saw me attack his buddy. Burn! Oh, hey, third rat. Thanks for increasing my light armor skill. So we get my arrow back, get more rat meat. I know that sounds gross, but hey, it's a game that takes place in what would be our medieval era of time. So, and there goes the abilities of my restoration is now at 15, which sets me up to have it go jump way up when I get to talk to the Emperor again. And like I said, this is all pretty much a basic missions setup. See, here's what I was talking about. If you didn't know it was there, you weren't paying attention, you would miss that chest all completely. Just to cut out a lot of locks, but lockpicks, but just to show you guys that that's what missing out on when you don't pay attention. So yeah, they try to tempt you with a lot of stuff to pick up here, thinking, you know, you're gonna go sell it once you get out into the real world. But you gotta kind of look at the weight of things in here. It's like that shield is way too heavy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up the food items because I can use those once I get my alchemy set. Get the iron helmet. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the club mace thing, warhammer. Take the gold, leave the war axe. Run around here real quick just to make sure we got everything. Okay, so we go ahead and go up this way a bit. Weapons. And that's how you block with the weapon. You're basically just holding it in front of you as opposed to off to the side. And we've got one more little buddy rat here that we need to take out. And there's some gold. Amazingly enough, I usually miss the gold when I go through this level. So you guys got lucky to see me actually pick up the gold that I usually miss. There's supposed to be a rat here, but I guess maybe I already killed him. Oh, nope, there he is. Put on the bow, and we kill the rat with extra damage. And never forget to get your loot. Important in this game is loot. As in all RPG games, must get loot. And here's another example of how things are hidden in this game. And it's like a really dark corner and barely can see it because the bag's white. So we're going to take our lockpicks, our healing. getting really close to our weight limit here. Here's the barrel I was thinking of earlier. Gotta be careful because sometimes these rats carry disease. You can get really sick. Or your character can anyway. Blow ourselves up a bit. Still not quite good at healing, so we're not getting good chunks of health back when we're casting it. So we have to cast it multiple times. But it does get better. And I probably would have taken that rat out one shot, but I ran around the corner instead of going slowly and carefully. And see, now we got weight issues. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of both of these. Go ahead and get rid of those, that, and that. We'll get rid of all the stuff that can't give us any money. Won't keep one skull until I absolutely have to get rid of it. Just because I like the skull. So there. And then since we got rid of the pants, we have to put some greaves on, otherwise, or a robe. But we might as well put the greaves on so that we can work on our, heavy armor skill. And we'll leave it though equipped because we're going to need it soon. Get the ruby, get the silver goblet, lockpicks, gold. Usually there's more gems. Like flawed sapphire and a couple other things there. Guess it's kind of a random thing. Alright, so I'm going to go through here. Tells you about hotkey items. You can and you don't have to. It does make it a little bit quicker to switch your weapons. Nothing good, nothing good. And the rest of them broken. The goblin's got tough skin. Nearly shot him in the butt. Took his lockpicks. Here's another thing, you can grab ingredients for your alchemy from just about anywhere. But just because the thing is there doesn't mean you'll actually get to pick up anything. Sometimes it'll say you can't find anything of use. And here is where you get your first alchemy, and these green bottles are negative potions. They are for putting on your weapons and things like that. Pick that up, pick that up. Tells you about being able to use the mortar, which is another way of managing your weight that you have. Is you can make potions out of some of your heavier ingredients. show you now. You click on there, and it tells you you combine ingredients with like effects to create potions and poisons. Alchemy skill will make your creations more powerful. The more potions you create, the higher your alchemy skill will go. Use additional apparatuses to improve the strength of your potions you create. Pretty much all. Duh. So I do that, and it tells you what else you can use with that item. And it is restore 3 fatigue points for 11 seconds. Okay, that works. So we'll create one, and there's nothing else that we can create a new potion, and it's gone up. So we're going to remove that, and now we are going to use mark flesh with rat meat. That's going to be a damage fatigue potion. And there's nothing else, so move, and we'll see if we got else sticking. So we can lighten it up just a tad. And nothing else that will combine. So that's that, and then I guess we did equip the lower part of the armor. Oh, that sucks. We dropped the armor, so. That's embarrassing. Guess we'll have to go back and see where I dropped it. Like I said, there's a certain point where you can go back. After a certain point, you can't go back. Oh yeah, and fire hurts you. So don't do what I just did and run over a fire. There we go. And now we got our sneaky warrior in heavy armor. Probably not going to stay that way because, well, it doesn't look cool and doesn't make much sense for a warrior that's master of sneak to be wearing something loud, clunky, and heavy. But for now it's okay because we're just doing the training mission. I always gotta make sure to look at these boxes and make sure they're not something that can be opened, because there might be something in them. See if we can get a headshot here. Yeah, we did, but we didn't. Increase the skill where we can. Get our arrows back. Bear pelt, gold. And he tripped his own trap, so we're okay there. Yay, more arrows. I'm done with that. Another skull. Trip the trap. See if it takes out both of them, and it did. Believe it or not, that almost never works. You almost always have to fight at least one of them. Grab the items real quick. Body, lockpick, body, arrows, and a lockpick. You always want to try not to take what you know you're not going to want or need. Sometimes it's hard to avoid. Ready our weapon. Kind of weird. Sword makes a bonk sound. I just hit him with the blunt edge of it. You know, you guys can't hear it because I don't have the speakers hooked up. But if I did, then I'd have to be talking over the game as well. Just stick that. We don't need a knife. Actually not as good as with the bows that I usually would be at this point, because I normally would have used it mostly to build it up. And by far this is the most powerful item in the tutorial mission. Believe it or not. Arrows I shot into her. There's a soul gem I was talking about. There's a ruby. We don't need a dagger. And it's kind of pointless if I don't want to go down there, but believe it or not, I can shoot these things most of the time. And they see me, so I'm going to get 3 times damage. Okay, so now let's go look at the items in the lockbox. And increased our security skill. Awesome. So here's more gems and stuff, gold. There's that repair hammer, and we're done. And now it tells us about the repair hammer. And since we got one, we might as well use it, right? Here's what you do. Take your repair hammer, and you go on and you find what's in need of repair. And it looks like the rusty bow is like the most needed in repair. So fix it, fix it, fix it. You just keep going until either it breaks or you have nothing left to repair. There, I broke the hammer, so now I have nothing left to use to repair stuff. But I got my repair skill to go up a little bit. So now we'll go a little bit further here, and this is the point where you're not going to be able to go back once you go through this door up here. Sorry, but there is a point after that door. Yeah, there we go. After we go out this little nook, we cannot go back any further in this little nook. So after this, we catch up with the blades in your septum, and you get to pick the stars that you were born under, which will give your stats a boost. So let's go ahead and look at my stats for a moment here. Okay, so a red guard and level 1, but I don't have a class or a birth sign. You pick the birth sign here, which will affect, you know, the attributes, and then the higher these attributes go, affects these skills down here a little bit. Pretty good amount, but a little bit. So let's look at what my attributes are. I got 40 strength, 30 intelligence, 30 willpower, 40 agility, 40 speed, 50 endurance, and a 40 and 50 for luck and personality. Personality 40, luck 50. Okay, so I'm gonna want to make sure that I at least make, you know, I want to do something that will increase probably my highest of endurance, but I also want to bring up something on the low end like intelligence or willpower. Now, since agility is where my, you know, sneak comes in, I might want to make sure that that goes up, because then I can increase the sneak ability right off the bat. So let's go ahead and join Uriel septum in the blades. Angrata. I doubt that's the right term, but hey, I don't speak any foreign languages very much. Yeah, the guards want to kill me, but luckily Uriel septum says no. And here's where he asks you what sign you were born under. You can pretty much say anything you want, and he'll barely have any different reactions. Okay, so here's the different birth signs. Okay, so there's the apprentice, which the apprentice ability confers a 100-point bonus to your magicka attribute, but it also gives you 100% weakness to magic. The lady confers a 10% bonus to your willpower and endurance, which that will bring my two lowest scores up to almost even with the rest of them. The mage is a permanent bonus of 50 points to your magicka. Thief ability grants 10 points to your agility, speed, and luck attributes, which I think that might be what I'm going to go with. The Atronach ability, you don't regain magic over time. Instead, you have a 50% spell absorption to recharge your magicka, which is probably pretty good if you're in high magic areas, like in the Daedric realms, when they're shooting magic fireballs at you all the time. And your base magicka is increased by 150 points. The Lord gives you Blood of the North lesser power to regenerate up to 90 points of health. However, you gain a Trollkin curse, which is a permanent weakness to fire of 25%. The Lover gives you, a Lover's Kiss power once a day. Paralyzed for 10 seconds at the cost of 120 points of fatigue. The Ritual gives you the Blessed Word, can turn the undead once a day. You can turn a powerful heal spell. Serpent, it gives you slow but poison touch while simultaneously curing yourself, spelling magic on yourself. Casting the spell costs 100 points of fatigue. Moon Shadow is a minute worth of invisibility. The Steed, 20 points to your speed. Tower, you get once a day upon door or container of average lock level or less. To Warden reflects 5 points of damage for 120 seconds. Warrior grants 10 points of strength, and that's it. So what I'm going to go with is probably the Thief, since that raises my agility, speed, and luck. 3 abilities by 10 points. Sorry. I hope this isn't too boring for you guys. Just trying to get through this mission quickly, but still give you the information that be helpful to you in the future. Basically ask him about how you are and if he's afraid to die, and he says no, because I've lived my life pretty good. Well, yeah, you're emperor of a whole empire. Hell, did I talk to you? Don't have anything to want. Take my arrow back though. Nothing else in there. Sorcery potion. Oh gee, they're fighting. Oh, how nice. We'll take a minute here and look at where our stats stand at. See, they didn't actually increase anything as of yet. But these will go up with my class stats. So let's look at my abilities. Now I have a 40, 30, 30, 50, 50, 50, 40, 60. Not bad. Not bad at all. Cap blocks is the auto rook. Learn something new. And this is where the Emperor dies. He gives me his jewel to take to a guy named Joffrey, who knows where his, how do I put it?